So let's go ahead and get started. My name is Timmi Johnson, and I am a health sciences librarian here at USD. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. So let's start with this. This is my contact information. Can everyone see my slide? Yes, perfect. Okay. So if you need any assistance after this meeting, webinar, training, whatever you want to call it, this is how you get a hold of me. So it's very simple, just timmi.johnson@usd.edu. And I work with all of the School of Health Sciences, except for, I believe, social work. That is someone else's department. So feel free to get a hold of me for anything that you might need, not just EndNote issues or problems. Hopefully EndNote works very smoothly for you, but it does not always, and I understand that for sure. All right, I am going to just turn off my camera so that I'm not distracting anybody. And I will go ahead and just kind of jump into this. If anyone has questions, you can put them in the chat, or you can, try and stop me, but sometimes I get on a roll, you never know. So let's go ahead and get into EndNote a little bit. So EndNote is what we call citation management software. And it allows you to get all of your references and all of your citations and all of your PDFs, that type of thing, into one place. This is what an EndNote library looks like. So when it's full, when it has citations in it. If it does not have anything in it, or if it is completely blank, you are going to need to create a new library. So if you have never used EndNote before, you are going to click File and then New. And then it automatically wants you to save to it'll name it my EndNote library. You can name it kind of whatever you want to. But it's recommended that you save it to a local drive on your computer, and that you don't save it to the cloud, because it has a higher likelihood of becoming corrupted. So that is sort of a tip that comes straight from EndNote. And you can just leave it as my EndNote library, save it in your C drive, wherever kind of you want to, and go from there. And then once you have done that, it should open up and look similar to this, only it will obviously be blank. So on the left-hand side, there's various options, right? You'll see at the top left is your all references. No matter how many groups or group sets or folders or anything like that you create, you will always be able to find all of your references under the All References tab. And then when you import references, they will go into your recently added. So you'll see for a short period of time the ones that you just put in. And then this is where your groups are. So you can add groups, you can add tags, you can do a number of different things, and we'll go through that. At the top, right, this is your top menu bar. So you have your file menu where you're going to create your new EndNote library. You can open a library, you can save copies of your libraries, things like that. Under Edit, there is an option under Preferences where you should be able to, and I haven't done this in quite some time, but you should be able to sign up for an EndNote Basic account, which is online. It doesn't have the full functionality of EndNote, but it will allow you to sync your library to the cloud so that even if something does happen to that main library on your local drive on your computer, you will still have access to your references and your PDFs. So all you need to do for that is click on Preferences and then Enable Sync, right? I already have my EndNote account all set up. I sync things automatically. I have my EndNote library on both my work laptop and my home laptop, my personal laptop. But if you hit Enable Sync, you should just be able to create an account. So you just go ahead and sign up, and then you should be able to sync everything. So if you run into issues with that, if it doesn't work, just, get a hold of me, let me know, and we will see what we can do about that. It used to be called an EndNote Online account, and now it is called EndNote Basic. So if you are searching for like EndNote Web or EndNote Online, it's going to ask you to pay for that, and you don't need to do that. You can sign up for a free EndNote Basic account. They keep changing the names on me, and it gets quite confusing. Okay, so your references tab up here. So you're going to be able to import references from various databases and things like that. However, if you need to, you can create a new reference from scratch. So sometimes if you have, like a physical book in front of you or a website, something like that, you may need to just go ahead and create a new reference. And then you just put, that it's a book, and you only need to put in the information that you need to create a proper citation. So you don't have to fill out this entire form, right? You can just put in what it is that you need to create your citation. Okay, let's go ahead and close that. And then the groups tag is obviously where you're going to create your groups. And we will do that in just a bit. The tags, we will go through that later too, so you can tag your citations with different keywords. Your library has various things you can do. You can change things, you can sort it, you can search it, different things like that. And then obviously, tools is going to be your output style, which is going to be what you're going to use when you do the Cite While You Write feature, which we will talk about. And then there's also a help function. So in your EndNote library, there is going to be, I'll just do a full one right here. Your citations, and then you can customize the size of your panes here, right? So depending on what you want, oh, mine won't customize now. It usually does. There we go. So you can see your citations in the largest pane, kind of in the middle. And then on the right is your reference view. So you have your summary. You can edit your reference. You can see your PDF if you have any attachments, that type of thing. And then, so if you need to edit the reference, you can edit it here. If you look at your summary, it will show you what your citation will look like. And then you can change to a different citation style if you want to see what it would look like in a different style. EndNote has thousands of styles. They even have, if they don't have it in EndNote, if it doesn't come downloaded within EndNote, you can actually just go to the EndNote website and search thousands and thousands of styles and just download them. So it's a pretty powerful tool. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to create some groups, right? So we are going to go to groups, and we are going to create a group set. And I'm just gonna name it my references. Right? Obviously, I have a number of groups for different things, but I'm gonna create a group set. So those are my references. Oops. And I'm going to right click and I'm going to create some groups underneath this. So I'm going to add a new group. I'm going to go with Web of Science references. And then I'm going to do PubMed references. And I'm also going to do Google Scholar references. So this is going to kind of be where we're going to work in today. So that's how you create groups and group sets. You can just create groups like I just created a group for the Affordable Care Act and it just popped in under my groups. So you don't have to create a group set every time. You can just go ahead and do it that way. So we're going to get into a couple of the databases that we have, right? So we're going to go into Web of Science and PubMed and show how we insert citations from there. So the first place I'm going to go is going to be PubMed. So I'm going to go to the library website, which is usd.edu/library. Whoops. And I'm going to pick the ID Weeks library. I always choose the ID Weeks library, even if I'm just doing something related to health sciences, simply because we have 264 databases total, and the Wagner Health Sciences Library has, I believe, 68. So you just get more options. And I know some people just think, oh, with the Wagner Health Sciences Library, it's health sciences focused and it's what I'm going to use, and it will have most of what you need, but sometimes it won't have that full text, and we'll have it in another database. So I'm going to scroll down and get into my databases. And I like the full A to Z list. I find it to be easier to navigate than that large drop down. So I'm going to go to Web of Science. And I'm going to do just a quick search. And I am going to just do dark chocolate. I have a sweet tooth today. Remind me later. Okay. Dark chocolate. So we'll search that. Okay. And Web of Science is a Clarivate product, which EndNote is also, so they work really very nicely together. So in order to export things into EndNote from Web of Science, you can just click EndNote or export, I'm sorry, and then EndNote desktop. And it will ask you how many records you want. So let's just do like let's do the first 25, let's say, so that we can get some things into our, and we'll do the full record and we'll export it. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. Okay, so here it's going to download a file for me. So wherever your downloads go, you're going to want to open your download. And you'll see where it says imported references on the left-hand side. I now have these 25 right here. And I am just going to, click and Control A to select all of them. And I am going to drag them into my Web of Science references. So you'll see there's 25 references now in this little Web of Science group. And it's also in my imported references and my recently added. And then you'll see that my all references number went. So that is how you get things from Web of Science into EndNote. It is super easy, very quick. Not much you really have to worry about. And then you just, to select all, you'll just hit Control A and that will select all of them so you can drag them into your group. Okay. And then you can also do this individually, right? So I could just click on that and click export and it would just export the single reference that I wanted. Okay. So let's go back into the databases and grab some PubMed references. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to click on PubMed, which is towards the bottom of the piece. I'm going to do the same search. Oops. And in this instance, I'm just going to take a few of these articles. So we'll say I want these 3. And in PubMed, the option is send to as opposed to export. So you're going to go send to, and then your citation manager, because EndNote is citation management software. So you want your 3 selections and create your file and open your download again. Okay, and then we have these 3 imported references. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to Control A to select all of them and click and drag into the PubMed references. Okay. And then those are in there, and your Web of Science references are in there. It'll show you your summary of everything. You can edit it. There's a lot of information that gets pulled in from Web of Science and also from PubMed. So you'll get the title, the authors, volume, issue, page numbers. You'll get everything that you're going to need to create a citation. The only thing that you sometimes have to pay attention to is not all of the databases will pull in the full title of the journal, and sometimes you need to fix that yourself. For instance, this one, which I think is vascular pharmacology. So in that instance, you would just click on edit and type in vascular pharmacology. If you're not sure what the full title is, obviously you would go Google that to find out and not just guess like I did at this point. But I am probably going to dump these from my EndNote at the end, so it really isn't going to matter too terribly much. And then the last place we're going to go is Google Scholar. So we'll go back to the databases. Google Scholar is actually linked in our databases. So we're going to go ahead and do that. One thing that is nice about Google Scholar is that you can link it to the library. So you would get, if you're signed in, which I don't think I am right now. Oh, I am. Yes, perfect. You'll get this, you get it. So if we happen to have it in the library, but it's not, freely available through Google Scholar, you can just click this, you get it, and then you can get the full text of the article that way. Okay, so this one is a little bit different. Google Scholar is not necessarily the best way to get articles into EndNote, but you can do it. So if you click on Cite below the little snippet of the article, you can click EndNote towards the bottom. And then same thing, open your download. It'll go in there. Oh, this one was a really good one. Sometimes the information is very limited. Like you'll notice there's no abstract or anything like that in there. And then at other times, it won't even have entire titles or necessarily all of the authors. But you can, like I said, edit any extra information in there that you need to. But that is just kind of one way that you can get items from Google Scholar in there if you can't find them anywhere else. So it is kind of handy, but it is what it is, I guess, basically. Um, okay. So there are some other things that you can do. First of all, you can add PDFs, right? You can attach files. The first thing that I kind of suggest when you're going to do that is to search for the full text online. So if you have an open access article in here and the full text is going to be freely available, you can find it through EndNote. So if we Control A and highlight all of those in Web of Science, we can right click and find full text, or if you are using a Mac, you can use this little piece of paper with the magnifying glass on it. You can do either one, and you'll notice down on the left-hand side under Find Full Text, it says Searching, and it is indexing the PDFs that it did find. And it is still searching for the last ones. So it will attach the PDFs of any that it found freely available online. So anything that's open access. Hopefully this doesn't take too much longer. It was pretty quick when I tried it yesterday, but now it's kind of a little bit slow. Okay. So let's just look at one that has a PDF attached to it, right? So it attached the PDF, it's right here. So I can go to my PDF and I can open it. And then I can do a number of different things, right? It'll open the PDF, it's in its own window. And I can click on the markup / annotation symbol. And I can do a number of different things, right? So I can highlight, right? I can highlight items. I can underline them or or strike through. I can create a sticky note, right? So I can, wow, my sticky note's not working today. There we go. I can create a sticky note so I can put a comment in and I can say, I don't know, we'll just leave it as comment because I can't think of anything right now. And then those will stay there, right? So when I get ready to close this, it's going to ask me, do I want to save those changes? I'll say yes. It's going to get my PDF, and then you'll see that my little sticky note, my comment, and my highlighting is still there. So it'll be there the next time I open it. So anything that I want to do along those lines, I can do. Okay. And then we can also do tags. So tags are great. They're just another way of organizing your library, right? So you just click the tag folder and we'll go create tag. And we'll make our red tag and we will call it Coca. And then create that tag. And let's go to all of our references and we will search for that term in our references. Okay, so we found 22 of them, right? So we can then, in our tags right here, we can go ahead and drag and drop them over into our tags. So now all 22 of those articles are tagged that way. So they'll have the little red tag on them. Okay. And then let's do one more tag just so we can see. So we go to tags, create tag. Let's do a blue tag and we'll name it flavonoids or flavanols. Let's go with flavanols. We'll create our tag. We'll do the same thing. I don't know if there's any in here, but we're going to find out. Ah, bummer. Oops. Oh, I'm not in my all references. That's my problem. I'm sorry. I'm going to my all references, search, and there's 5 in there. So I'm gonna put those under my flavanol tag. And then now I have, various tags down here. If you are in the edit pane, you can manage your tags. So you can either add more tags, you can clear your tags, you can remove them separately. However you want to work that. So that's how you use the tags. I don't use them a lot. Some people really, really like them. So it's really just comes down to personal preference. You can also directly import PDFs into your library. So if we do that, we will go File and then Import. And I'm going to import a folder. And I saved it in my desktop. It's called PDFs 1. So if you have a folder of PDFs already, and you haven't yet used EndNote, you can download those directly into EndNote. So I'm just going to say this is the one I want. I'm going to click OK. I am going to create a group set for this import just so that I know where everything is going. And I'm going to import it. Okay. And here are my PDFs. So there's PDFs in both of them. They came in really well, right? So that's the important part here is that they came in with the titles, the authors, the journal title, DOIs, because these PDFs came from PubMed, so they pulled in everything, which is great. And that does not always happen, right? Sometimes you'll get the PDF in there and you'll just get a little snippet of information like you might sometimes get from Google Scholar. And then you have to go into your edit and change and add things. But sometimes it works out really well and you can just download those PDFs and you will get all of the information that you need. Okay, so let's go to one of our Web of Science references. And for this one, a PDF was not found, right? There was no PDF freely available online, but it's very possible that we have it in the library. So it was dark chocolate and blood pressure. So I'm going to go back to Web of Science. And I'm going to have to whoops. What's that I'm just going to copy and paste the title so that I can hopefully find it more easily. Search. Okay. And this is the article that I'm looking for. There is a You Get It button, so we will see if we have this elsewhere in the library. It just means it's not in this particular database. So I will click on that. Well, shoot, that one we don't have. I was hoping to find one that we did have. Um, when I did this yesterday and I was running through it, it went much more smoothly. Um, let's see. No, that one is Germany. Let's see if we have this one. If we don't, I'm just going to grab something else. Um, okay, so this one we do have in the library. Thankfully, this worked out nicely for me. So if you need to, you can upload the PDFs individually within EndNote. So you would just download your PDF and kind of save it wherever you want to. I'm going to save it in my desktop. I'm just going to save it in the main desktop. And then all I do is go back to EndNote and I find my citation and I click on PDF, attach PDF, and then click on that and it will pull the PDF in there. So it's a few more steps, but it still works very well. And then that way you have your PDFs and your citations kind of in the same spot. So that's how you can attach a PDF if it's not found online. Okay, the next thing that I want to run through is Cite While You Write, which is the thing that pretty much everyone loves about EndNote, right? It's great that you can put your citations in there and you have your PDFs and everything is in one spot and well organized, and that's amazing. But the Cite While You Write function is also amazing, basically. So we're gonna go into a Word document. I'm just gonna open a Word document. Oh, that's not the one I wanted. I actually have one that I wanted, this one right here. So you have your Word document. So let's say you have your paper started, and you want to insert some citations. So when you download EndNote, EndNote will put a tab in your menu bar, right? In the little EndNote 21 tab right here. And you can then go ahead and insert citations into your paper. So I'm going to just go ahead and insert a citation. So I'm going to say insert citation and click this little drop down. And I'm going to go with, I'm going to say Berg and find a citation. You can search by author name, year, title words, all sorts of different things in here. So whatever you need to remind you of what you were citing, that's fine. And then you can insert your citation. So there's also some drop-down options though. So if you want to exclude the author or the year, or only put it in your bibliography, you can do that. I'm going to go ahead and insert the full citation. And it should put the in-text citation in there for me, and then, yep, and then start building the bibliography at the end. So there is another couple things. So let's say we want to insert multiple citations at one time. So you can go to Insert Citation, and let's pick a few, right? So we'll just Control click to select multiples. And we'll put in those three. You can just hit Insert, and it will put them in there for you. And then if you'll notice, the first one we had put in was Berg, but it also then reordered everything to put it in alphabetical order because I chose APA 7th edition. So it's pretty handy. It just kind of builds that bibliography at the end for you. If there is anything you need to change in your citations, all you need to do is highlight that citation, right? So we're going to highlight it and do Edit and Manage Citations. And it's got your citation highlighted. You can go in and edit your reference. You can remove the citation. You can kind of do all sorts of different things with it. The reason you want to do that and not just go in and try and type over it is that EndNote kind of puts background formatting in. And if you do go in and just try and fix it yourself, it will kind of screw that formatting up, and your entire paper may not look correct after that. So always make sure you use that Edit and Manage Citations. If you need to go in and edit any library references that you have, so let's minimize this for a minute, and let's say we wanted to change a title for something, like it wasn't coming in as the full journal title. So you would just go in and go Edit Library References. I'm going to use this Berg one. I'm just totally going to mess with it. And I am going to name it the Chocolate Journal. It's a good thing I'm not keeping this because that would really mess things up. Okay, and then I'm going to go back into my Word document, and I'm going to update my citations and bibliography. And you'll see that it changed the title of the journal in here. So if you're going to try to change anything, you need to kind of do that within EndNote and then come back and update your citations and things like that. So like I said, EndNote has thousands of output styles. These are just the ones that are kind of here right now. So if you wanted to do AMA, you could do that and it'll just change that for you. If you need to select another style, these are the styles that it automatically comes with. It comes with a number of different styles from different journals. There's, oh, look, it says there's 501 styles, but there are thousands to choose from on endnote.com. So if you do have one that you you can't find in here, you can just go to endnote.com and download it. So I'm just going to go ahead and cancel this, but it makes it very convenient, especially if you are submitting an article to, you submit an article to a journal and maybe it gets rejected and you have to submit it to another journal that has an entirely different citation style. Then you can just go in and click a few buttons and it will change that citation style for you. So EndNote is it's a very convenient thing, and I highly recommend that you use it. So that is kind of my spiel. I'm going to stop sharing for just a minute and see, does anyone have questions?
I know I have a couple questions.
Sure.
Um, I am a Master of Social Work students, and you mentioned that you work with everyone except social work students. Is
That
there
is true. Yes, there is a different librarian that works with social work, but I can help with EndNote stuff.
perfect? Do you happen to have the name of the librarian for social work students?
If you give me one moment, I will grab it for you.
Okay,
We did some shifting of
sure.
who has what. Yeah, I will grab that for you real quick.
That would be great.
Yeah. Um, well, why can't I find it?
I can also send you an email later.
You drop me an
Um,
email and
yeah, I can do
I
that.
will get that for you. Yes.
Yeah,
Yep,
that
just
will
drop
work.
me an
That's
email.
okay. Yep,
Yep.
no rush. And then also you had mentioned that the ID Weeks library has some content that the Wagner Health, yeah, Sciences Library might not
Mhm.
have access to. Is
Yes.
there, so if I'm looking for things in the ID Weeks library, should I also be looking in the like health sciences library? Is there things in the health sciences library that the other
There are
library wouldn't
not.
have? Okay, perfect.
Nope, there's
Um,
nothing in Wagner that is not in ID Weeks.
okay,
Yeah. But there are
sweet.
a number of things, quite a few things in ID Weeks that are not in Wagner, the health sciences. Yep.
Sure. And then my last question was like, can you share, like, if you're working on a project with somebody else, are you able to share the references with them within EndNote, if that makes sense, if they can see your groupings and things like that?
Yes, there is an option to share your library. Let me share my screen one more time and show you that.
Great.
Okay. Okay, so this is my EndNote library. If you're going to share, you might want to create a new specific library for your project, right? So you would just file, new, create a library. Um, but the option to share your library is under File, and you just do Share, and then you would put in their email address to invite people to share your library with you.
Perfect. That is helpful. Thank you so much. I
Yes, you're welcome.
appreciate this webinar. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
If you do create a new library, like Emma asked, are you able to move references from one library to the other?
Um, as far as I know, no. You would have to open the libraries separately, and I don't think you can open two at a time. Um,
So would you, I guess what I'm asking is, so let's say I've been working on chocolate for 15 years and I'm a real chocolate expert. And I have a student that comes along and is going to study chocolate with me. I want to be able to just like, okay, we're going to do this project. Here are the things I've tagged.
right.
Chocolate is great that we're going to use for this paper rather than going back into Google Scholar or whatever and finding them from scratch. Does that
Mm-hmm.
make sense?
I think so. I'm wondering, you know what? I don't do a lot of sharing. So let me look into that and kind of get back to you. There, the only reason I recommend that kind of students do it is because then they don't get things crisscrossed, especially if there's like five or six of them working on something and then nobody gets anything mismatched or anything like that. But you can, like, I have my entire library shared with someone else, and neither one of us messes with, anybody's anything else. So, I'll have to check to see if you can move things between libraries seamlessly, because I'm sure you can, but it might be clunky.
And that was my follow-up for that. Did anyone have any follow-up questions about libraries? I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the difference between groups and tags, like the purpose of them or when you would use which.
Okay. I can a little bit. Tags are basically like hashtags for Twitter, right? Or X, whatever you want to call it. Where you would just go in and you say, I want everything that has this word in it, and I tagged it that way. Your groups are going to be more, I would say, specific, right? Like, so it's going to be like a file folder that you have the specific items that you want in it, right? So when I tagged a few things, whoops, I can't share my screen right now. When I tagged a few things, what happened was I mean, I can add tags, I can remove tags, I can do whatever. I prefer groups myself, like that way I'm specifying that I want these 9 articles on the Affordable Care Act in my Affordable Care Act group. But it's actually it's really personal preference, how you want to do it. But if you have something, tagged, if that's how you prefer to work, that's fine. But there's only so many tags as well. So you only have like so many colors. So I'm a group person. And then the tags also, like, they all have to be related. So for instance, I have when I was doing my master's in public health, I, arranged things in class order. And obviously not all of the articles in there are related, to each other. So it's, you kind of have to decide on your own what works the best for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I think a lot of us as researchers, what we would think of as a group might be like a topic, right? So like,
Mhm.
I'm just going to use examples from my research because otherwise I'm going to be trying to come up with chocolate analogies. Um, so I study sexual assaults,
Mhm.
and I study sexual assault exams, and I study sexual assault payment practices, etc. So I might have a paper where I want to draw on things from different groups.
Mhm.
So maybe what I'm hearing is like maybe I should consider like a sexual assault tag, and then I could create a group for the project.
Yes. So what you would do in that instance is like you could have a sexual assault tag and you could have all of your sexual assault articles tagged with sexual assaults. And then you could create a group that has like sexual assault examinations. So that would be very specific. And then if you wanted to look at, the more overarching, you would grab the tag as opposed to going into each of the 3 or 4 or however many groups you have. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's very helpful.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of how you could do that.
Jordan, Viviana, or Shelby, do you have any questions you'd like to ask Timmi? Or Emma, any follow-ups?
I don't have any. I think she answered all of mine. Thank you.
Thanks.
I don't have any questions, but this is like all this information was just great, and um, it's awesome to know that we have this technology that we can organize our all of our PDFs.
Yes, it is great. I did not have it when I did my first master's, and man, when I did my second and started doing research, I was like, this is amazing. So,
Are you able to share how to do like citations or references from online sources, not necessarily from journals?
right. Okay. So that's gonna be, if you have like a website that you're doing, that would be where you would need to put it in manually. So you would go to your oops, EndNote library, right? And you would go to references and new. And then you would have to pick, so let's say like, right, so like if you had a book in front of you, or if you were trying to do a website, which is probably all the way at the bottom, so we'll just go with book. And then you would have to put it in manually. So you would have to type that information in there. If you had an ebook that we happen to have in the library, there is a way from the library catalog to pull it in. If you want me to show that, I can do that quickly.
I think that's helpful. I was just curious on when it was like just a regular website, if
Yeah, you have to
need-
put in you have to put that in manually. So like I have a lot of CDC references and NIH references, web pages from there that I just typed in what I needed to create a citation and called it good. So you don't have to put everything in there.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Timmy. I will be posting this, we'll post it to the Ori YouTube channel, and I will share that out to the School of Health Sciences in general and to everyone on this on today. So Emma or Viviana, if you have not joined the Ori listserv, you should email me on how to do so we can make sure that you get that. And then I think it'll be really useful because I know there's a lot of things you talked about, and I was like, oh, I'm going to need to come back to see this, or I'm going to need to come back to see that. So I really appreciate that we have the recording. And I'm really excited for this because I was writing a grant this summer, and every time I changed a sentence, I had to change all my citation numbers, and that was like, I'm like, no more. I'm learning EndNote. So this is going to be great. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for coming.
Bye.